When 58-year-old farmer Marlene Shaw vanished from the rural town of Alder Creek, the community felt the loss like a snapped fence wire, sudden, jarring, and dangerous in its implications. Marlene wasn't just a farmer. She was the unofficial heart of the valley. She lent out tools without keeping track, dropped off vegetables on porches without knocking, and remembered everyone's birthdays even when they wished she wouldn't. Her disappearance wasn't just suspicious, it was unthinkable. On a crisp October morning, Marlene's truck was found idling beside the west gate of her property. Driver's door open, thermos of coffee half full in its cup holder. There were no signs of a struggle, no footprints except her own. It looked as if she'd simply walked into the fields and evaporated. Sheriff's deputies swept the property with dogs. Volunteers combed through the tall grass, and search teams covered miles of farmland. Nothing. No body, no clothing, not even a dropped glove. At first, investigators suspected a drifter, someone passing through who saw an opportunity. Alder Creek had very little crime. The idea of a random act of violence seemed the simplest explanation. Residents locked their doors for the first time in decades. Kids who usually biked down dirt roads now stayed inside. Everyone waited for answers that never came. But after 48 hours, small inconsistencies began to nag at detectives. For one, the west gate was rarely used. Marlene always took the path near the barn. And then there was her phone, found on the kitchen counter, screen still lit with an unsent text draft addressed to someone simply labeled R. As investigators dug deeper, the portrait of Marlene as the warm, solitary farmer began to fracture. Neighbors mentioned that she'd been unusually stressed for weeks, locking her tool shed, something she'd never done, and arguing with someone late at night. There were rumors she was considering selling the farm, though she denied it every time someone asked. When detectives analyzed her finances, they found large, unexplained withdrawals. Not enough to suggest she was planning to disappear, but enough to raise eyebrows. The name on several wire transfers matched the initial in her unsent text. R. Lanton, a local handyman who occasionally worked on nearby properties. But R. Lanton had left Alder Creek 2 months prior, or so everyone believed. A breakthrough came when a truck matching Lanton's old pickup was seen on a game camera near Marlene's property a week before her disappearance. Investigators pulled traffic camera footage for miles around. To their surprise, Lanton's truck, now registered under a different name, had been seen entering Alder Creek the night before Marlene vanished. The handyman wasn't missing. He was hiding in plain sight. When detectives finally located Lanton in a rented trailer outside a neighboring county, he didn't deny knowing Marlene. In fact, he claimed they'd once been close, much closer than her friends would ever have imagined. They had started a relationship 2 years earlier, kept quiet because Marlene valued her privacy, and Lanton had a history of petty theft that made locals distrust him. Their relationship had frayed over money. He insisted she owed him for repairs and favors she never paid for. She insisted he was extorting her. But the most shocking revelation came from Lanton's own weary admission. He had confronted her the morning she vanished. According to him, they argued near the west gate. She threatened to expose him for forging her signatures on loan documents. He claimed she slipped in the dew-slick grass and fell. Panic overtook him. He dragged her into his truck and drove off, leaving no trace but the running engine she'd abandoned in fear. When pressed for where she was now, he broke down entirely. Following his directions, investigators found a shallow grave at the edge of an abandoned orchard 20 miles north of town. Soil samples and personal items confirmed it was Marlene. The hardest part for Alder Creek wasn't learning that a neighbor had killed one of their own. It was learning that Marlene, the woman they trusted with their gardens, their stories, and sometimes their children, had held secrets she felt she couldn't share. Secrets that ultimately isolated her when she most needed protection. Lanton was charged with second-degree homicide and financial coercion. The trial that followed was painful. Townspeople filled the courtroom not out of curiosity, but to stand witness for a woman they had believed they knew entirely. In the years since, Alder Creek has rebuilt its sense of community, though the wound never fully closed. A wooden bench now sits near the west gate of Marlene's farm, carved with her name. Every spring, the townspeople plant sunflowers around it, her favorite. They say the blooms face the sunrise the way she always did. Steadfast, sturdy, and unafraid of the shadows behind her. If you find this story more overwhelming, subscribe for more deep crime story like this. Don't forget to hit the like button and share with your friends.